Hi Kathy.
Lord knows I need that.
I don't eat it, so.
No, I'm glad it turned out. I was in a sickness state of mind that week. Actually, didn't staff that. I stopped club station too. So I gotta go for the prescription for the dry down. It feels just like my head is reduced to my right ear and it just feels like compression. Not like mine, yeah, just like constant. It's annoying, yeah.
One of those can be just as bad as much.
I am looking forward to the street walk next Friday.
This walk, it's fun.
Wayne's the one that did it. I'll turn it off.
To it
Turn it
every
off
year.
or turn it on.
Since they're old enough to go and
Troubleshoot.
11 and 9.
Turn it off and turn it on.
Such a nice age, and
They take care of themselves. I won't be this year with my knee, but yes, in the past I have.
You can't help either with
It's not worth me going on that right now. Just getting up.
So when you're coaching, you have to get down on the mat.
Oh, that's how I hurt my left knee.
Oh, how you hurt us in the first place?
So,
You had surgery on your knee,
Plus it-
right? Yeah, okay.
helped with what they
Yeah, that
call
one's-
I could have to get into the junior high. And, so the kids, well, I mean, it's not like making fun, so, you know, I get just to coach at the end and do all our drills and stuff like that, and I just better if I keep my knees away from this year.
One of my sons was a wrestler.
I know, seriously.
Let's just say 40s.
Helping is more important. Say 50.
Thank you, you started getting ready of
Very young.
I love it.
Oh, did you get that? You're right now. Sir, you may already have.
Children, kids, sorry, I'm in there. We're so especially happy to see that the girls program is really taking off. Because,
Me too.
the young girls program, they are as physically tough as boys
I
at
had a
that age.
neighbor girl, Monica, brothers all wrestle.
All right, call to order the council meeting for the city of Fulton. Roll call, please, Tori.
Mayor Malone,
Here.
Alderperson Boonstra,
Here.
Berggraf, here, King, Mask, here, Ratcliffe,
Here,
Sewell, here, Van Campen, here, Wilson, here.
Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tori, any communication this evening?
No, there is not.
Thank you. All right, item 7, consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda will be enacted by a single motion and roll call vote. Any item may be removed upon request of the mayor or any alderman and considered individually after all other items of business on the consent agenda. We're looking at approval of the regular meeting minutes from November 10. We're gonna approve the bill list, page 6, and then the treasurer report dated September 30, 2025. Motion, please.
Make that motion? I have a question.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion?
Yes, I've, a monthly treasurer's report comes to the treasurer us a full month after. So we're reading the end of September. Is it always, or is it necessary to have that whole month of a lot of time?
Yeah, it's just how our bank statements come in.
Okay, so we always.
We're always a month on.
So I think Barb's point is though, that we've typically in the past been a month behind and now we're 2 months behind.
Yeah, that was because of Cassell, because we've been having some Cassell issues and we've been going back and forth with them.
To be,
But the budget to actual came out, it was Friday last week, so.
I got that.
Yeah. So her numbers will be updated probably at the next meeting.
So this is way it will be going forward, or just up in this time?
This is for September, so October should come, now that we got the budget to actual, October's will come for December, the first meeting in December.
Okay. Okay, well, it seemed later in June, so.
Yeah, we've been having some issues with Cassell, which is our accounting software.
Oh, one more. Also, when Amanda does this little report here where she compares our video gaming fee, then she uses last year's monthly average, which is probably skewed differently depending on which month. I thought it would be more helpful if we could get, she would compare the March of this year with the March of last year, rather than just taking the average of the whole year, because it does fluctuate.
Yep, I will request that I'll find out how she's doing it now and then we'll get it taken care of.
Thank you. That's all I have.
We're gonna talk about the downtown road, right, from when I was reading the minutes, that's gonna be on tonight, okay, then I'm good.
Anyone else? Roll call, please, Tori.
Alderperson Buska,
Yes.
McGrath. Yes. King, Mass,
Yes.
Ratcliffe,
Yes.
Sewell,
Yes.
Van Campen. Yes. Wilkie.
Yes.
All right, next we have a motion to approve and vote on the continuing of the work of Fourth Street. Motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion, I think the main concern here is, are we gonna continue in 2026 or postpone till 2027? And there's reasons for both sides. The main thing, I think, is the loan. Is that right? Can you talk about that, Eric?
So, if you remember, back in June, July, we were approved for an Illinois EPA SRF loan, which is a very low interest loan, 1.67%, I believe is what it is. Also within that loan, it is a 30% forgivable loan. So we asked for 2.9 million, 30% of that's gonna be, we're gonna have to pay back roughly $2 million of that. That is a 30-year note, but at that interest rate, you're not gonna find a better one. But the nice thing is we are paying off the water tower this year, so we are dropping a note off. So this would take place of that note that we just had.
What's the difference?
Price wise? So the note.
For the note.
Yeah, so what we're paying right now is $120,000 a year. The note for this new loan will be $87,000-ish.
So it'll be less than.
It's on the back here, it's I think page 16. Yeah, page 16 is the top.
That's the one that's going away.
Yep. 2012B.
And if we decide to postpone,
So if we.
start the process over again?
So if we decide we want to postpone, we essentially give that money back to the EPA, they issue it to somebody else in line, and then we have to start the process all over again. So we go essentially back to the bottom of the list and we have to reapply, just like every other community in the state of Illinois does, and there's no guarantee that you will score what you did the previous year, because it all depends on the different communities that apply for it. So there's no guarantee we would get it 2 years in a row. Obviously you can apply, but there's never any guarantee with that kind of money.
And the interest rates are different.
Say that again.
I said interest rates could be different.
They could, yeah. I mean, typically with an EPA loan, they are very low interest, but that interest rate can also change with, their funding sources.
So we're voting to put this to Willett Hoffman to put out to bid.
Essentially, just letting them know that we are gonna move forward and continue on with plans to get the road done from 10th Avenue down to 13th Avenue.
And then we would still have to vote and approve on any bid that was submitted,
Correct.
winning bid.
Yep.
Okay, so that'd be down.
I mean, I would guess their hope is to go out for bid in January. And then there's a review process on the EPA side of things. So there's a 45-day hold with that. And then we're looking at we're still bouncing some timelines around, but we're looking at potential start date the week after Mother's Day, whatever that date would be, the 18th, I want to say.
That would be welcomed by some.
So that is what our initial start date is looking like, but we're still trying to iron out the timeline to make sure we can make this all work, so.
We're still determining funds for the portion that's not paid out of the EPA loan as far as either general fund or getting some sort of loan to offset.
Right, so far I only have heard back from one bank, waiting to hear back from Community State, and then I don't know if Shane ever reached out to the bank you were gonna
I don't
talk
have
to.
an answer yet.
And that's specifically for the concrete?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So that would be roughly $700,000 is what we're looking at. Which we had talked about that at the last meeting, you know, asphalt over concrete.
Well, I thought we had discussed paying for it all.
Mhm.
And now we're weighing the option, just to be clear, we're weighing the
We're
option of
just trying-
taking a
yeah.
loan.
Cause we do have some time yet on this, like, so once the project starts, so in May, that's when we would actually have to have the loan secured. So we have a little bit of time yet to make sure we find the best rate. So we're just trying to make sure.
And then deciding what dollar amount we actually do wanna borrow, or if any at all,
Right,
right?
right,
That's
yep.
all,
On
just
top of the grant.
what the grant
loan.
doesn't cover,
Okay.
the balance, yeah. I would like to suggest that we maybe amend the ordinance and put in the year, cause it says continue working on Fourth Street in 2026. So that it's clear that we're not saying, well, yeah, we are gonna work on it, but not till another year.
So what projects are out of the 2.9 million, that's the rest of Fourth Street?
So that'll be the water main on Fourth Street from 13th Avenue up to 9th Avenue. That would be repainting of the water tower, both inside and out, and also the water main loop connection down on between 22nd Avenue and 31st Avenue.
What about the paving in that, or am I missing?
So the EPA loan is strictly for the water main.
So everything he just listed is in regards to the water main,
Okay,
and
And
then
we also have to
extra
get a
work.
$700,000 loan on top of the 2.9.
Well, we don't have to. We're just looking at all the options, whether we decide we're gonna pay for it, you know, out of general fund, cannabis, you know, however we decide we're gonna pay for that. We're just trying to give everybody as many options as they can, so that way we can make the best decision, you know, maybe not taking us so far down in our reserve accounts, so that way we are struggling, maybe just half, so we're just trying to weigh all our options at this point.
Legally, we have to keep so much in the general fund, what is the minimum?
So our auditors like to see between 6 and 9 months, and right now we're a little over, we're probably, I would say, a year and maybe 4 months, give or take a month or two.
What would that translate to dollars and cents, 6 to 9 months?
It'd be like 1.8 million, it'd be about 9 months-ish.
So do we have the money to take out if we want to, or would we rather keep that 700,000 in our account drawing interest and then pay, say, $100,000 installment loan over, I don't know, 8 years, I don't know what interest rate we'll find,
Right.
but yeah.
Can I just ask that when those numbers come in, it's like in
Yeah.
writing on a chart, and we can clearly like,
Yeah, cause once we
Have that.
kind of figure out where we think the best option moving forward is, we'll present everything that to the council. You guys can vote on what you wanna do, whether you wanna, you know, take it all in one big hit, if you wanna do small increments, you know, moving forward. But once we get all that information from all the banks, we'll present that to everybody, and then, you know, we can make that decision.
And is it required to paint the inside of the water tower?
Yes, actually it is.
I was in there after the derecho.
So this would be
Cobwebs, that was about it.
this would be inside the bowl where the water actually sits. Because otherwise, and actually, we just had an inspection done last week. It's actually starting to rust pretty bad, so they coated initially when they build them, and then you obviously have to maintain them, but yeah, ours hasn't been painted since 2001, I think is when that was put up. So he did say it is definitely in need of it.
Oh no, what do you do with the water when you're doing that then?
So we actually bypassed the water tower.
Well, that's what I was like,
Yep, so
Just
we'll
pump it right
bypass
out
the
of the
water
river.
tower and it's essentially gonna come straight out of the wells and go to everybody's homes. So the fire department will be on some kind of a standby with other communities for additional water supply if so necessary.
how long are they talking this would take
About 2 months.
to paint?
Well, they have to sandblast
That's
it.
it was first.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It costs as much to
When
paint it as what it costs
That's
us
a
to
very
put it up.
specialized
No,
unit.
yeah, I had to think about
Did you
that.
have a date for that or not yet?
That would kind of be up to the contractor. It'll be summertime, I don't know specifically yet.
Oh.
Have another busy year ahead of us.
That one's due, tapped on. One of our IML magazine just a few months ago did a feature on water towers in different cities, how they painted them.
Mm-hmm.
Really sharp when you can put your logo up there or some such thing. I know it's an added cost, but
Yep.
it's just a nice touch to.
I know we've kind of talked about putting maybe this logo up there, but as of right now, we're just talking, so we'll find out when that time gets
That
closer, what
cost.
that cost is gonna be.
Someone's got a cricket cutter.
No, Terry said,
Laser or something.
projector, yeah.
We sell ad space.
Rotated one.
Oh, actually, that's kind of cool, right?
It's also important to note that the sidewalks will be open. Like, when they do the,
Well, and this will be, so the way this will work is they'll go through, the water main will get installed. They'll get all the way through, make all their connections, they'll get it tested, we'll get our operating permit. And then they'll go back and they'll do the services as they rip the concrete out. They'll start doing the services in that block and then they're coming right through and paving. And the reason we decided to go that route was so that way we didn't have multiple closures on the downtown. We're just doing the one for when the water main comes through, which takes about a week per block. And then when they come through to do the services, they're already having everything else out of the way anyways, so they're tearing the road out, they're digging for the water services all at the same time. So we're limiting the amount of times we're actually closing the downtown road. So it's just gonna be one block at a time, we'll get that block done, jump down to the next block, and so on. So it'll be roughly a month, possibly 5 weeks, obviously it depends on weather, but a month is kind of what we're shooting for
Yeah.
before it's open again.
but no sidewalk closure.
Nope, sidewalks stay open.
It'll be good. I was standing in Manny's Friday night and a gal was in there that probably didn't see the Facebook post that said how this was gonna work, and she said, I thought the roads here were new, but she's like, they're awfully bumpy, and she's like, I was like, oh, God.
Slows people down.
Yeah.
Daily, people walk in and say, what's up with your roads? How come- I thought you were fixing them. I'm like,
It's a
no,
process.
I explain. I'm like, we did everything under the road first, then we'll do the road there.
Well, there's still work under the road, right? Or no? No.
Just the water main, that's it.
Just the
Yeah,
water.
the storm sewer's all been done, all the electrical's brand new. So the only thing they have to do is the new water main and make their connections.
Do you have an update on the light posts, when those will be finished?
So,
That wasn't a good sound, Eric.
so I can tell you they started pulling wires today, so that's a good sign. But the breakaway bolts that attached to the bottom did not get shipped with the lights. The company that we got everything through, they said they shipped them with the anchor bolts and nobody has them. Then they said they shipped them with the light posts and nobody's seen them, so they're trying to get them overnighted here so that way they can start. But if they're pulling wire, that tells me that either the anchor bolts are on the way or they have them so they can start setting everything.
It's good. Start out
So,
there.
fingers crossed.
So this
I was just
project,
so, I was just relieved to see them there, not,
Yeah.
I know about these other parts that they're still not here.
Yeah.
But I was just so glad to see they were manufactured, that they actually existed rather than,
Yeah, it was
From
good to see
manufacturer
them show
someplace,
up
yeah.
early. The other part was not playing.
this water main project, is that looping the water main down by the windmill as well?
No.
No, okay.
Another project.
Anyone else?
Will we have the opportunity to talk to or address Willett Hoffman? I know that was mentioned in our last city council
Yeah,
meeting.
they were supposed to be here today, but clearly they are not here, but they were supposed to be.
Okay. I would like to move forward, but I just wanna put the caveat on it before approving any low bid that would come in on the next phase two. Cause I believe it's gonna be bid out all as one project and they'll probably go to subcontractors from there. But I'd like the opportunity for the council to address Willett Hoffman and kind of emphasize some of the concerns that we had on phase one, with them. So they can, when they're on site for phase two, they can properly, share our concerns with the contractors.
All right, anyone else?
I like all that information you're talking about sharing with us ahead of time.
All right, you're voting to continue to work on 4th Street in 2026. Roll call, please, Tori.
Alderperson King, Mask,
Yes.
Ratcliffe,
Yes.
Sewell,
Yes.
Van Campen,
Yes.
Wilkin,
Yes.
Zylstra,
Yes.
Berggraf.
Yes.
All right, next we have a motion to approve and vote on the use of concrete to pave 4th Street. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
Question.
Yes?
That difference was like, wasn't it like 200,000 or something that and we're doing the concrete because it's gonna last like the 40 years versus the 20?
Well, we're voting on
Correct.
it, but yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, that's right, okay.
Yes, yeah. Discussion last time, I think we were all kind of in agreement on concrete, so we just wanna,
Yeah, because I was reading over
Put
the
it on
notes and
paper.
there was just like, I'm like, oh wow, that's a difference.
It'll outlast the loan.
Right.
any other discussion then before we vote?
I don't think concrete breaks up like the asphalt did either. I mean, we had those chunks of asphalt here for years.
So the upside to using concrete is you're gonna be putting concrete in at 8 inches thick where blacktop's gonna be 4. So you got a lot more rigid structure. Asphalt as it heats up in the summertime, has a lot more give, it's a lot more pliable. Concrete does expand in the summertime and contract in the winter, but you know, with the way you do your control joints, that hopefully eliminates a lot of that moving of the concrete. But the end product will last, 40, 50, 60 years potentially. So, and, you do asphalt and in 20 years, we're back here redoing everything all over again.
Can you asphalt over concrete? So
You could put asphalt under concrete if you want.
Or side by side like we have now,
You could.
which is not the most attractive. It works.
checkerboard pattern.
Aesthetics.
Anyone else? Roll call, please, Tori.
Alderperson Mask,
Yes.
Ratcliffe,
Yes.
Sewell,
Yes.
Van Campen. Yes. Wilkin,
Yes.
Zylstra,
Yes.
Berggraf, King.
All right, next item for discussion is tax levy. It's page 15. And then you also have another worksheet here that I handed out outside of the packet.
This is different.
Yes. It's due December 23rd, our decision is, so we'll discuss tonight, hoping to get a vote next meeting. Page 15 is a 5% increase, which is the most we can do without a public hearing. And then Zach ran some numbers on 2.5, is that right?
No, 2%.
2% increase. So these are the two sheets you have in front of you here. Open for discussion or explanation.
What's our history here in the last 3 years? What have we done?
Last 3 years, actually I can take it back to 2021. We have historically done it, a max, which is the 5%. So the thing with the levy is we we ask for the 5%, but we may only get 4% or 2%. So it just depends on the tax dollars that actually come into the county. But we have historically, at least as far back as I can see, always done the 5%.
So the reason why I offered the 2% is for a few reasons. If you look on, I don't know what color it is on yours, I printed from home. It's the shaded numbers. Some of these, so these individual rates make up our city line item on our tax bill.
Are you on page 15?
Yes.
Okay.
And in the shaded areas, you can see, and I guess it's light gray on your guys' page.
Yes, like gray.
Some of those have individual limits on how much you can raise or how much you can ask for a levy. Some of them do not have an absolute max, but the 5% is a 5% increase over last year's levy request. And that number is reflected at the top. The $728,370. So the difference is approximately 22, a little less than 22,000. The reason why I put in a 2% option is we do not need any increase in our Social Security fund levy request or IMRF levy fund request. It was noted in our audit that we have an abundant overage in those accounts, both on an annual basis and on a reserve basis. If you look at the reserve funds, we have a combined $600,000 in reserves between those
Social
two.
Security and reserve fund are the two that you're.
The Social Security fund and the IMRF, basically the pension
Right.
amount of money that we pay. On an annual basis, our budget is approximately 220 to 230, but our levy request is 300,000. So we have quite a bit of a buffer in there already, and asking more, I think, is not prudent to protecting the taxpayer interests. Everything else is the same that Eric has on 5. The main exception is the
Tort fund.
tort fund, yes. So it's about $15,000 less. It's still more than what we did the previous year in the ask. And if you look at our budget to actual, we also have a balance on that on an annual basis as well. So I think it's prudent to do the 2%. We'll still have everything covered. And moving forward, we can adjust next year if we need to go higher than 2%.
Kind of talk through this in email throughout the finance committee. We didn't get a chance to meet up on it, but basically the thought process is if we can tighten our belts a little bit here on these items this year and not add to the increase, because everyone knows like the assessed values have already increased last year, they're increasing again this year. This would be an opportunity to do that and maybe not cause us any harm. However, we also wanted to take into consideration anything that may come along that this increase would be prudent to use. So Eric, I don't know if you had any thoughts on that as far as like areas that we may need those funds if we were to waive them away?
I mean, the only thing I would say is with, the police department increases, last year, and then public works coming forward, just, keep that in the back of your minds.
Because we can use the tort fund for administration salaries, not
Correct.
union salaries. But we're talking $15,000, so it's not a huge decrease if we don't.
When's the public works contract?
It'll be up next year.
26?
Yeah,
To be clear, nothing in here is used to pay public works employees except for the Social Security and IMRF. So as I explained before, we got those more than covered, and Eric has already shared that those rates are going up next year from, I believe, 9.2% contribution rate to a 10% contribution rate, but that is still covered within our range of annual overage.
And these funds can't be transferred anywhere else.
Correct.
go with the 2%, is that we're playing a chance of maybe not getting the full 2%, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, you could ask for 5%, you might not get it.
Right, is that the same as if we asked for 2%?
What happened if, what would, if we weren't approved for the 2%, how would that impact the other one?
Wouldn't have very much effect at all, considering our current reserve status and the annual overage we already have built into our budget. It would become tighter and tighter, but I guess another point I'll add to this is, I have it written down here somewhere, we're looking at another, I think it was 8% property tax, or excuse me, equalized value increase this year for our jurisdiction, so.
Next year is when you'll see.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yes,
Yeah.
this tax year, which we pay on next year's tax
Next
bill.
year, you'll see
Yep.
another increase.
So with those increasing EAVs, it's more likely than not that we will get that increase because about the bundle becomes bigger.
So our current percentage that we get right now is 1.09%. If you did a 4% increase, that would increase it to 1.15%.
And to be clear, we don't set the percentage,
Right.
that's out of our realm. Hopefully, the goal would be,
Well, it's based off of our numbers that we put in.
but we don't know that yet because we don't have a finalized total equalized value for the taxing body, right? That gets,
That's at 66 million.
that was last year's.
Yeah, but that's what we based this year's off of.
Correct,
Right.
yeah, that's
I know what
our,
next year's is.
you do?
I do.
Okay, so what is it?
I don't know if I'm allowed to share it yet.
Okay,
Oh, you can't dangle the carrot.
so.
We need that to make the decision, so.
So if our residential, and I can
I
only speak,
can tell you it's up.
so I can only speak to residential, they sent out a form, I believe in August or September, everybody should have gotten one in the mail. We're looking at another 7%, I think it was, increase.
What was,
It depends on the house. Not everybody's was. Mine was only 0.8%.
No, that's the assessed value from the city assessor, we get an
Right.
equalized rate coming from the county, they add in like another 7% equalization rate to determine our final amount, so that plus that equals the.
Can't wait.
Our thought process is if we can roll back from the 5% and only do the 2%, then we're not gonna hit our homeowners as hard this time around, our taxpayer.
Correct.
I would like any type of win for our taxpayer, not to muddy the waters here, but the school district is gonna be requesting a 12% tax increase on their levy for the taxes that we'll pay next year. So if we can win anything, I would love to present that to the taxpayer.
That
They're
has,
doing that, I don't know that.
well, that has to go to a truth in taxation before that
Correct.
actually
You know how many
happens.
people-
That's not a guarantee that it's gonna happen.
You know how many people spoke up at the last year tax increase levy for the school?
0.
0 people. So they'll probably get that 12%.
Well, that actually has to get voted on,
Do they have a max they can request like we do?
5%. Anything more, they have to do truth in taxation, and then they also have to have a referendum vote to take it up that high.
I don't think they have to have a referendum vote on that. They didn't have to have a referendum vote last year and they had raised it 9%.
I don't know, school districts might be different than us.
All right.
What do you think, Eric?
I mean, ultimately it's up to the council, but, you know, Whiteside County, if you look at your tax bill, is in close second behind us. We're only off by a few $100s. Obviously, it doesn't matter what we do, Whiteside County's gonna set their percent and we don't have any choice over it. But I can tell you, you know, all the other taxing body districts are taking it up that 5%. Personally, I'd rather not give Whiteside County more of our money to where we can use, but that is ultimately the council's decision on what they wanna go with.
So what you're saying is we're already taxed that. So if we request 5%, they might give us 5%. If we request 2% and they got 5%, they're keeping the 3 and giving
Well,
us.
so Whiteside County, if you look at your tax bill, you know, it's got the school district. The school district's number 1, we're number 2. Close behind us is Whiteside County, and they are hot on our heels. I think if I remember right, they're within roughly $200 of where we would be at, you know, based on your home value. But, you know, obviously we know the school district's gonna take it up as far as they can.
When you're done.
Trust me, I looked at it
Whiteside
extensively.
Whiteside County, I'm sure, is gonna take theirs up as high as they can. You know, and then at that point, we may be paying your tax dollars may go more to Whiteside County than what stays within the city of Fulton. So it's just a little food for thought. I'm good with whatever, I just need to know so we can keep moving this forward.
Will we vote at the next meeting?
Next meeting, there'll be a vote and, you know, the ordinance and everything else, but just kind of looking for a little guidance.
We're looking for how to type the ordinance tonight.
Is there a
Type
middle
it as-
ground we can come to somewhere in between there? I mean,
You
maybe,
can choose like 5 or under, you know.
yeah, 3.5%, 4% maybe.
Well, the stumbling block for me is funding those accounts that we can't tap into. You know, we're feeding two accounts.
Well, we use those accounts.
You can transfer those to another fund? and-
No.
Okay.
We are using like IMRF and Social Security, we are paying things out of
Oh, I
those
know that,
accounts,
but I
yes.
mean, they're,
Right. But we can keep those rates flat and not put any extra into them, you know, what the rate that they're at, you know, I'll just take IMRF for an example. We can leave that at 170,000, and, you know, make adjustments in other accounts like the tort fund to help offset some salaries to free up a little space in other budgets, so. I mean, there's a little room to work some of these numbers, you know, obviously the ones that you have a max rate, you always wanna take it up to whatever that max rate might be, it's a very small percentage. But the other funds that aren't, or don't have a max tax rate, you know, those are the ones we can kind of play around with on where we wanna put those extra dollars into.
I'll make it simple real quick. Only difference between the 5% and the 2% is literally the tort fund. It's $15,000 in the tort fund in the 2 examples that were provided to you guys. Other than obviously not have, what as Eric just stated, not doing any increase on the IMRF levy request or the Social Security levy request.
but it does make a big difference under the taxpayers' tax fund.
Actually, the only thing that's gonna be affected is the rate that we show on the thing. Ultimately, the taxpayer, when we ask for more absolute dollars and we're granted more absolute dollars as a city, they pay more absolute dollars.
I'm comfortable with the 2, and then when we do our budget here in January, we just look where we can tighten up and, you know, focus on our must-pay bills and our contracts and our salaries, and then go through the bill list and like, what didn't we need?
Okay, explain that again, Eric, with Whiteside, where they're standing at behind us. If
So
they're gonna get more money than taken
So-
from us.
If they were to do their 5% increase, they would have the potential to get more of our tax dollars than what the city would get. Cause right now, we're almost neck and neck, but we're a little off, we're about $200 off, obviously that depends on your house, but we're close, but you know, if we don't keep with increases, they could potentially be the second leader in getting tax dollars, and then that money goes straight to Whiteside County, it doesn't stay within the city of Fulton.
To be clear, we have no control over their tax rate.
No,
They
not,
can still
not
do
saying,
that.
Right. I
not saying we do,
understand,
I'm
yeah.
just guessing they're gonna do a 5% increase.
Right.
Is my guess. Yeah, we don't have control over anybody else's tax rate, we're just going by what we can do.
Right.
And we know that Illinois is the second highest in the nation for property taxes.
Every tax.
Well, we know that because businesses don't wanna come into Illinois. And that's why.
What's the first?
I don't know.
California.
Oh, yeah.
If you follow on social media, a lot of people are struggling.
Well, it's not just the taxes, it's all the other expenses that are going up for people. I mean, it is,
Right.
it's conspicuous to me. I usually don't pay much attention, but it's obvious how much things are going up.
Well, then if we can give a little break, like we did the grocery tax, and it is not gonna affect us that much, then,
And honestly, we
then
have to
I'm
review
for it.
this again next year, right? So.
Yes.
We have to do it every year.
Every
Yeah, so
year,
we can
yeah.
offset it next year if we find, you know what, we should have grabbed that, and we
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, I just need to know.
Yeah, we're not making a decision that's
We've got a
like
chance to talk about
not-
this.
Yeah,
as well,
you can
right?
change it next.
Well, we have to vote on it at the next meeting,
Yeah, but so we still have some time to think and talk about this.
cause the next meeting I'll have the figures put together, and then it'll be up to a vote, because then we have to get it to the county,
Right.
especially if we don't
We just need
meet.
to write the ordinance for the next meeting.
I have the ordinance ready to go, but I just need to know the numbers to plug in there.
2%.
Yeah, do you want a 2 in there or a 5 or something else? That's why we're
I'm
discussing
comfortable
tonight.
with the 2.
If everybody's comfortable with 2, I'll plug those numbers in and have the ordinance ready
Let's
to
try
go
it.
for.
We need a vote.
No,
We'll do
We
it
just
the
need to
next one.
let Eric know that we
Next
wanna,
meeting.
we wanna vote on the
Type
2,
the ordinance.
if you wanna vote on something.
If you change your mind, you can vote no next meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Probably not.
okay. Eric, I think we're gonna go with 2. Next discussion item is we have a city council meeting scheduled for December 22nd,
No.
and we do.
No, I understand, I won't be here.
Well, that's what we're here to discuss, that's on the discussion.
So the way the ordinance is currently set up, we would be paid for that regardless, is that correct?
That's correct, everyone is paid for that regardless. If we don't have the meeting, I'm not gonna accept payment, but that's up to y'all.
It's our Christmas bonus.
It really does go back, when I thought about this, when somebody started talking about it for years, it was, this is just like a Christmas bonus to the staff because we do other council, compensation for council work that you do outside of the meeting. You get paid for the meeting, but a lot of people do a lot of other, that's where the rationale has always been, that's why.
This is another reason why the 2% is important to vote at the next meeting, because if we have something to vote on for December 22nd, we will not be able to cancel the meeting, and the levy is due on the 23rd. Or we just, we can decide next time, it doesn't have to be
Well,
tonight.
we have a December 8th meeting, right?
Yeah, we
Yes.
do, just on here for discussion, like, is anyone for sure not gonna be here, Kathy?
22nd?
Yes,
Yeah, 14 years that I've been on, we've never
I'll be
had 2
around.
meetings in December. We've only had the one.
I mean, it's just the holidays, I know something will be up with one of the kids or,
oh yeah,
so I'm
I
just.
mean, I can be here, so, if we,
Do we need to officially vote on this?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
I think you have to make a decision, cause then you'll vote on it at the next meeting if you're gonna cancel it.
Yeah.
It's not like an ordinance or anything, we just have to vote to cancel the meeting.
If we don't have anything
We can do
pertinent,
that
I say
now.
we cancel it.
I agree,
Yeah.
I think we should cancel
We
it.
gotta discuss it first. We have lots of meetings in January.
Yeah.
Oh, we do?
Lots of budget meetings
Okay.
coming up.
We do,
So-
we have a lot.
Well, people won't, most likely won't come anyway, for some reason or another that close to Christmas, and so you won't have a quorum, likely.
Maybe not, yeah.
So do we vote tonight or in 2 weeks?
No, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
December 8th.
Well, we'll see how the next meeting goes and we'll make sure it's last. That way, if we have something to vote on, then maybe we'll have a meeting or see who can be here for it.
Somebody
We
invite
could
you
always call a
somewhere.
special meeting if we had to though, right?
You could,
But then,
but
yeah,
I don't,
yeah, I
I'm not a
understand.
fan of like paying you for canceling and then calling a special and paying again, like,
I
you know,
agree.
I'm just having the meeting on the 22nd.
I think though, the
If
point
needed.
is that, why that happened, just my conversation when I first came on was, how do you pay somebody if you're not here kind of question. And it was because council members do a lot of work outside of a meeting as well. So it's that kind of compensation, is what I've always heard. And I don't think anybody's ever questioned it in the last.
Well, no, they're not, well, I am, but I'm not gonna
You're special.
call a meeting on the 20th when we're gonna cancel on the 22nd, like, that doesn't make sense, just be here, you know? It's been on the calendar for a year, so I don't know.
They always are on the calendar, always.
I think the difference is when the compensation was changed to a per meeting basis, these are automatic, these are all scheduled, for the whole year. If before, it was, you had a yearly council member annual salary, we'll call it. And you were paid if you attended 24 or if you attended 18, they got paid the same, so.
Yeah.
If we look to change that in the future, it's something we can consider, but I'm open either way.
All right, next is holiday bonus for city employees.
Same as last year.
Same as last year. Do we know last year's numbers just for?
200 for part-time, 400 for full-time.
Anyone have
This is
any
for
other?
police too, right?
Correct.
What's that?
I just asked if it was for police too.
What's our full-time number up to?
No, they're not, they're not.
Nine, Logan's got 7.
What's the number, what's the number on that?
That's what I was calculating.
22? 23? Yeah,
And how many part-time?
technically,
Just Caleb.
none.
Nick worked, Nick's the one that worked all.
Yeah, well, that was beginning of the year.
Yeah, Caleb would be part-time.
Oh yeah, Caleb would be a part-time worker.
Do we account for a holiday bonus in our budget?
Never have before.
So where's the money come from?
General fund.
General fund.
Oh, why wouldn't we account?
Yeah,
why wouldn't
that
we
should
budget
go in the
that?
budget, let's remember that, let's get that in there.
Yeah, put that in our budget
I
notes.
think it just
Because
comes
it's
out
not
of,
a must pay, it's an option.
But we could
There's
budget
a
for
lot
it.
of
I think it-
optionals.
I think it comes out of the salaries part of the budget.
If everyone, I mean, this is my first year, so if everyone's comfortable with 2 and 4 and what it was, if that's what it was last year, I'm fine with that. I've talked to Erica a couple times about it, and I don't know if there's like forward, if like, and I'll just, as an example, like, hey, chief, here's $2,000, you know your cops, you decide, if there's, and then for public works or city, you know what I mean, like, just something for future reference, like, maybe there's a harder worker than someone else, and
Well,
like,
I'd
if
rather
there's.
keep it as that.
Very stuff waiting to happen.
Either way.
Yeah, that's a grievance waiting to happen.
Did that answer your question?
Okay, never mind.
Not with the union involved.
Sorry,
You didn't even get out there for 5
We'll have
seconds.
that,
sorry, retract that from the record.
we'll have that 22nd meeting.
And you'll be here
Full house.
Okay, 2 and 4, sounds good. Anything else? Okay, next item for discussion is a dirt bike trail. So I had the opportunity to go to the school and talk to the 7th graders about government and like my role and your all's role and citizens' role and what their role is in the city, and they can come and request, and Greg Boy's like, I want a dirt bike trail, so I thought it would be important to put it on the agenda so their teacher knows that we're discussing it tonight, so she can pass that along, that their voice has been heard. So does anyone know in town where we might be able to put a dirt bike trail? And the only place that we were thinking today was somewhere out near the city dump, which is off limits and cattail floods all the
Are
time.
you talking like an automotive dirt bike or like?
And that was what my question was, I was like, I mean, I was happy the kids wanted to ride bicycles, I was like, that'd be awesome, but,
No, dirt bike.
well, I used to have a dirt bike too, but it was a BMX.
Oh,
I think that's just a
No, I think a
liability
motorized
thing, I
dirt
don't
I
think we
was
could
thinking that too.
have
But at seventh grade, they're probably thinking not mechanical.
I don't know.
My guess is they're.
They're thinking.
They're definitely motorized.
Now, my mind right away when I saw a bike, I kind of scratched the dirt bike, but bike trail, like we vacation up in northern Wisconsin, you can rent the big fat tire bikes. And then there's trails all over, you know, like that's something that I could see being a recreational option that we could do in the community, but you don't see trails for autumn.
You have the one over
Automotive.
Right off
on
84.
That's private.
what's that?
That's
I know, but it's a dirt bike trail, and it takes up 2 acres.
Where's it at?
Right off 84 by the fire.
right by the fire station.
And they have fun on that.
Yeah. They-
So maybe they would
Those
be
three
open
kids out
to.
there.
Private though?
It is private property.
It is private.
Cause I think it's Rathburns, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got it wiped out pretty good.
I've seen quite a few people that do that out in the country or whatever and make those paths. I never understood the enjoyment of it, but hey,
Well, they
Yeah, no,
have
I
a dirt
think-
bike barn, don't they?
Yeah,
Bet-
yep.
Yeah, they have a bike farm and.
I fall off the couch, I get hurt, so no. But for a kid, I think it'd be great.
Tell them it'll go in the strategic plan.
I said the city liability if somebody breaks an arm though, if you have it on city property.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I think it's wonderful they have a hobby and they wanna do it, but that's just not a city.
Talk to Dan Dolan, he's got all that acreage out there.
I think that's gonna be all occupied here in the next year by solar panels.
Like a solar farm.
And
To power, yeah, to power his building.
Costs money to grow weed, man.
But if I understand right, cattail area, it just floods
It
when
does.
the river's up, so.
Groundwater comes
We don't
out.
want
Cattail
people, we
Road,
don't want
well, you
seventh
don't want
graders
bikes
going
on
around that
riding
corner
bikes,
anyway,
Not on the Cattail Road.
unless we made a path.
You're
Yeah,
gonna see
separate
ramping up over top cattail.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Make an Evel Knievel ramp,
I can see it already.
Think of the air
farm.
time on that, they could hang time on that one.
So response maybe to the teacher and the kids is that we did discuss and we were concerned about safety issues.
And
Or maybe
liability.
clarify,
Safety and
would they
liability.
like a bike, like a two-wheeled one that you pedal?
No,
Yeah.
they have that
They
bike
want the
trail.
motor ones.
I was trying to help there.
Killing hopes and dreams.
Okay.
Ask how they-
Save some lives and arms and legs.
skate park.
I just think it builds character.
Next is information purposes only. Here you have page 16. It's our current debt numbers and schedule. It's really information only, but does anyone have any questions about any of these?
I just think it's a good thing for us to take a look at periodically, remind ourselves where we are with our debt payments and before we think more.
The one question I had for this, Eric, did the 350,000 clear then for the 14th and 7th Avenue project? Under committed funds. I know that we talked about it in the finance committee.
I actually just received from IDOT, the approval for, the 14th Street payment. So that will be coming out, but that's on MFT.
Okay.
I would imagine we're gonna be seeing another bill from McCarthy here at the next meeting, I would assume, but that should get us close to being paid up.
All right, any new business, Alderman comments?
I've got just a couple of things. Want to thank everybody for participating in the Winter Fantasy Gala. It was a fun night, and I thought we fared quite well, especially the mayor. It's the grand prize there. But
Your Charlie Brown one?
one up prize. I think it was most
They said they
unique.
didn't know it was mine.
I think it was unique, the category.
That's
they
actually
won.
kinda
But
cool.
for all of you who participated, You know, they all look good, people appreciated especially to the office girls who saw an opportunity to participate and did a beautiful job on it as well, so thanks to you. The other thing is the Historical Society, we're beginning to get more serious about what to do for the quincentennial coming up. Quincentennial. So we're planning some things and would like all of you to think of something that maybe the city would like to be involved with. Sue and I had a little chat with the mayor the other night at our Economic Development Committee, and he was suggesting fireworks, and Sue and I both said, have you looked at the price of fireworks to try to do that yourself? And I don't think Fulton, that I can remember, really ever has done them, because Riverboat Days always had so many. But anyway, just be thinking about it. I thought about it today. What might be nice for the city to do is, you've heard me talk about how our Main Street is on the National Registry of Historic Places. So it really is a significant thing that we have that many buildings, and this might be a year that we could really focus on that. Put a sign up, identify buildings, or do something like that. Some of the things that we're going to do, we certainly would like to have a big parade. I'm hearkening back to when we did the bicentennial celebration. We had the largest parade in my lifetime. We've got pictures of parades in Fulton in the 4th of July back in 1911, 12, 13. They were just huge. So they must have been the only one around doing it, that many people came. We've got, well, there's one down at Waterworks. Great big and large one of a 4th of July celebration with the banners flying all over. So, but anyway, the parade would be nice. One of the things that we remembered about ours, we did a tour of homes, of historic homes. And this time somebody suggested, well, why don't we do a tour of homes, and why don't we look at some of the newer homes that have been Fulton, and we've had some really nice ones. So up on the bluff, so we might do one in the fall.
When is this?
What is this for?
We're just for the bicentennial, the quincentennial.
Just of our city?
No, the nationwide, it's 250 years
Oh.
old.
Not aware, sorry.
So anyway,
Just talking this coming summer.
It's 250 years. So this would be for the 4th of July.
Yes.
well, for the whole year, yeah, for the whole year, we'll do some, bicentennial, we did something every month. I don't know if we'll do that for this one, but we did something for every month. So just be thinking about what the city might like to do. 4th of July, Riverboat is talking about revamping itself. So we probably wouldn't want to do anything to going on at the same time, but would like to do something on Main Street with the historic status it already has. Nobody knows that except the couple of us in the Historical Society know about that designation it's had. And it would be, I think, a nice year to feature
We've
that.
got a boat parade.
A boat parade, anything with the river, anything we can do with the river is always to our advantage, locally and tourism. Any tap into the Mississippi, anything we can ever do, that's always to our advantage, because people love it locally and people love it when they come to
I
visit.
could tie in a fundraiser to the marina while we do it.
There you go.
Well, I would like to at another meeting, because I didn't plan on talking about it tonight, but I would like to tell you about my trip on the Twilight. I went on a 2-day trip. Everybody know what the Twilight is? Boat that goes up from LeClaire to Dubuque. And they do that 2-day thing all summer long. And I met with the captain and just asked him, how could we ever get him to stop in Fulton and give some rides from here? I was delighted when he said, my wife and I talk about that all the time. How can we tap into Fulton? And I said, well, here I am. Let's start talking. So he was very helpful, gave me some suggestions on how we could maybe make that work. They could come here for a day, and so I'm thinking that would be something like we could add for Dutch Days, put a day extra in that people could come. They'd be in our hotel the night before, they'd have to eat here another day, add that third activity to them, yeah.
Bring people in.
So
Wouldn't it be nice
he was very, very willing to talk with us, and so it was exciting to have that conversation, and I can give you more on that. But just wanted you to be thinking about what could we do for the city for the 250th anniversary. And we've already started talking about, one of the things we did, the bicentennial, that was really popular, is we had 5 people who dressed up like famous people. So we had an Uncle Sam, we had a Betsy Ross, Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, they went around and talked, and, you know, and the local people who did it had a good time with it, and it was fun. So there's just a variety of things we do. Doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but I'd like you to think about it and come back maybe with our December 8th meeting with some ideas so that we can spring it. It'd be nice to have it springboard off our January meeting. This is what we're gonna do for the year. Also, we buried a time capsule. And it got moved when they built the flood. But Eric thinks he knows where it is, right, Eric? No, Eric doesn't.
Eric,
He looks at Logan like,
Yeah.
I think it was before Eric was born, we did that one.
Anyway, I've been calling people around and who worked in public works 50 years ago. And they could remember, yeah, it got dug up and then it was in public works for a long time with the concrete still around the capsule. What happened was the local funeral home gave us a small casket and that's what we put all the stuff in it. But we're just not sure. Logan just gave me the name of another man who worked in public works years ago, so I'm gonna check with him and see if he knows where it got buried. But interesting, one comment, one thought I had about it when I was thinking about it is I remember where we buried it the first time and thinking, I'll never live to see this. You know, who would have thought with the lifespan back in the 70s that 50 years later, how our lifespan has jumped way up. I thought, I'm not gonna see this. But here I am. So anyway, give it some thought. I'd like it to be a citywide celebration. That's what we did when we did the bicentennial. We had a grand time and think about it, and it's always nice when you do something significant that people can see even later on that we did that during, celebrated the nation's country, or birthday, 25 years old.
Well, thank you. Before, I know it says alderperson comments. Chief, did you have anything or no?
I do.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Officer TJ Spencer has resigned from the police department.
Oh,
He took a position back at Carroll County, which we were all surprised. But we're very, very lucky. We are hiring a new guy, Andrew Bennett. He lives here in Fulton. He's a police officer on the Arsenal, and he will start on Monday. So we're doing everything to get him a waiver for his training, so we can hopefully just do in-house training with him and him not have to go to the academy. If he does, obviously you can get reimbursed for the academy. We've got a seat at SAUC if we do need it, but we're hoping not to have to go that route. But Andrew will be here for a long time. He lives here in town, lives up by the mayor, actually. Him and his wife, 2 small kids, and he'll be a good asset.
What'd you say Andrew's last name was?
Bennett.
Bennett.
How long's he been at the Arsenal?
He's been at the Arsenal for 6 years.
how many?
At the Arsenal for 6. He's done all aspects of corrections, dispatch, and law enforcement. So he's very interested in being the EMR for the fire department as well. So I mean, he's definitely gonna be a good one to have on our side.
Sounds good.
What does that do for you in the meantime? As far as like overtime?
No, so he would, since TJ was on a power shift, that's a cover car, so we just won't have a cover car on that shift.
Okay.
So, although it does, the only thing that does change is obviously we got a bunch of guys trying to use up the last of their vacation.
Sure.
So I can't move the cover car a little bit, so there'll be a couple days here and there, but nothing too extreme.
What's a cover car?
So from noon to midnight, we actually have 2 officers on.
Where?
Where? In town.
Oh, just,
In town.
okay, I didn't know if like.
Yeah, like Sergeant Hamilton is our cover car. So he's a supervisor of both shifts right now. So from the 6 AM to 6 PM car, he works half the shift with that car. And then the night shift car, he'll work till midnight with that car.
Oh, okay.
When our call volume's higher in the day.
Gotcha.
All right, next we have the finance committee meeting minutes. Zach, you wanna fill us in on these?
Sure, a lot of this is stuff that we've already covered in our meeting through other points, but I'll go through it from our meeting. We had a pretty extensive one on November 6th. All the reserves are pretty healthy. As Eric just talked about, never go below 1.5. The general fund, we thought that was about 6 months. We always want to have that in case the state of Illinois ever decides to go through the little budget crisis that they had a few years ago and withhold payments to us. We've had improved financial health since the 2018 audits. The treasurer's report, just something of note, at that time, the August report, which is what we had had at that time, 2 million more would be coming out for the 14th Street 7th Avenue project, and the 4th Street Phase 1 project. So as we look at the treasurer's report, just something to keep in mind, that those will be coming down as all those checks actually go out and are reflected in the treasurer's report. Streets, as we spoke to, the street lights are in for the downtown. We had a little bit of budget overrun due to digging. I think that was the soft spots I'm referring to.
That's on the 14th Street.
14th Street specifically. I don't know why I don't have that on the notes. Apologies. The water main easement, we already approved that purchase. I believe it was 2 meetings ago for the southeast side water main loop connection, which is again part of the Illinois EPA loan that will pay for that. The fitness park material cost was $4,500. I believe that was for the concrete pad.
Correct.
And then the overall cost is $1,750. Excuse me, $170,000. And the grant, I don't know, I don't have the number. What grant did we get?
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
And what was that number?
60,000.
60,000. I don't know why I have that in here either. So as we already spoke to, I think this is pretty self-evident. The phase 2, the majority of everything is going to be paid for by that 2.9 million Illinois EPA loan. As Eric spoke to, 900,000 of that is forgivable. We don't have to pay that back. And as we've discussed, the interest rate is extraordinarily low. We did discuss during the meeting to anytime that we want to do a big project and we're putting out for grants, we need to come up with some sort of plan to self-fund that in the future, because we have not been very fortunate on the grant receiving end. So if we were going to plan something for the future, we need to be able to pay for ourselves, and if the grant comes in, great, but otherwise we need to know that we're going to be able to pay for it.
Caveat to that though is, we have a lot of money, it's hard for us to get grants sometimes.
Well, as stated above, we got $2 million coming out of those reserve numbers. The reserve numbers are already coming down a little bit as those bills get paid out. And I think we talked about this in the last meeting. We're still not sure where, was it the IDOT that referenced the MFT?
Yeah.
The two,
Yeah.
right?
They said
Yeah.
we had a extensive.
We had way more money than we've ever had in there, 800,000.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that number from, because it's not in there.
The loan strategies, this is specifically to the concrete loan. That's what that's in reference to. Concrete versus asphalt, we just talked about that. Yeah. Oh, I think I spoke to this before. The phase 2 of 4th Street, the water tower and the southeast water main loop will go out as one overall bid to Willett Hoffman as opposed to 3 individual project bids. We'll obviously be utilizing the most cost-effective solution there. Council and community engagement, we talked about this a little bit. Commitment to strategic planning for future projects that we referenced the MSA planning. Advocacy for the downtown residents, direct engagement with the council, encourage over social media complaints. Scheduled our next, yeah, that's gonna get changed. We have a next meeting scheduled for December 16th. We initially talked about the Public Works Union contract. It's coming up next year, and I'm assuming that we'll form a committee for that. The benefits for IMRF go from 9.2 up to 10%, so that would be an increase. And we have an initial purchase order policy that Ally sent to us previously, and she has not gotten back to us on feedback to that, but we kind of like it. It basically sets different standards for, 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 5,000, 5,000 to 25,000, and 25,000 is more signatures and obviously council approval.
Oversight.
And it was a draft outline from the Village of Vernon Hills, if I'm not mistaken, and I thought it served as a good baseline. We'll discuss that in the future and present it to the council as a whole when it becomes appropriate. Eric spoke to this before. Ally, I would say, has some concerns on the amount of support that she's receiving from Cassell and for specifically the software support for billing, or software billing. And just very initially thought, if this continues, do we look at alternatives to that? Because obviously, not only do we want Ally to feel comfortable with it, but anybody else that would fill that role in the future.
So would that be a whole separate system, or it'll be interfaced with what we already have?
It would potentially be a whole different system.
We're
But
just,
we're very early stages. I mean, we're nowhere near ready to make a switch, so.
preferably, they start giving us the support that Ally wants and needs, and it smooths out. We get the training that she wants and needs, and then Mindy and I get the training that we want, and then we can pass on a workable system. But until we get to that point, I just want to keep our options open. And again, this is very preliminary talk, but mentioning it as we did discuss it in the meeting. Takeaways. I know we already talked about this in the last meeting, but our suggestion was going to be the concrete versus the asphalt because the minimal dollar differential between those two choices and the lifelong wear value for concrete being so superior to the asphalt. Eric was looking up loan options if we wanted to take out a loan for that concrete, because we do have to pay for it ourselves. We'd have to pay for it if we chose the asphalt as well, but so hopefully you'll have some numbers for us by the next meeting.
Hopefully.
Okay. Advanced strategic plans. Basically what I stated before, we need to think about paying for our own projects in the future as opposed to holding up for grants. Prioritizing longevity, infrastructure longevity, concrete versus asphalt, and continue engaging with residents and business owners for feedback. And the last item that we had for the council to consider setting up budget workshops in early 2026 for the next fiscal budget year, which starts on May 1st, 2026. And just knowing from the past experiences, we have to have that done and over with, preferably by the end of March.
Yeah, I mean, we can get by beginning of April, but if we can have it wrapped up by end of March is best. Gives us a little leeway.
And I really appreciated our workshops when we would get together and sat around in tables and talk with each other.
The
Really
mayor
spent
usually
some
brings
time.
donuts and.
He does.
Somebody, I think the chief of police furnished the donuts.
So
Fine by me.
I can bring donuts.
we can discuss this further in a future council meeting. I know when I attended as just a resident, they were done on Saturday mornings. I know in the past, after that, they've been done before or after the Monday.
We've done
Council
it
meetings.
both ways. I think last year we did,
Last
it
year
was
was,
opposite of our actual board meeting, so we did the, like, the first and third were budget meetings.
So something I would put on the council, just look at your calendars for January, February, and kind of get a feel for,
well, we would get a whole binder of information before we even started, so that really helped us to, know what we were gonna be talking about. That was helpful.
just look at dates and maybe we have a discussion at the next meeting. What we think a better day would look like and when we start those, if that's February, first week of February, so be it.
Last year we started in January.
We can start in January, I'm just throwing it out, it's like. We'd like to have as much participation as possible, I guess is what I'm saying.
Of course. Speaking of grants, if you didn't check your email yet today, I applied for a grant for the
I seen that.
pickleball court. I turned that in today, so see what happens. I asked for 45,000, cause it's like 50 grand or so, I don't know. But, we'll see what happens. Got letters of support from school, Kiwanis, KT3, local business owner, Rooted, and then, what was the other one? The fun crew, yeah, so just kind of a random group of folks that helped us write the support letter. See what happens.
I think they'll be very, they'll be happy to help.
If no one has anything else, I ask for a motion to adjourn. No. Second?
Support.
What's that?
Support.
All in favor?
Bye.
Opposed? Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving.